Ladies and gentlemen, boys, this is the Aaron and John Show with your hosts, Aaron and John Mouse.
That was the good stuff. That is the good stuff. Hey, good stuff.
We're doing the good thing, and then we're going to do a podcast, because then what we do. And then after the podcast, we don't do anything else, because this podcast was the thing today.
The only thing we had to do was a podcast that we always do. Yeah, the podcast.
All right, what's up, guys? How are you? We are here on a new episode of the Aaron and John Show. This is episode 56.
Hell yeah.
57, maybe.
Al Wilson. Famous Broncos middle linebacker. That I always liked.
Didn't he no, I'm probably thinking of someone else who he did credit fraud or something like that.
I don't know, maybe. Everybody gets into some weird shit, you know.
Weird stuff.
Yeah, it's easy to get into, you know, when you got money, to get scammed by somebody and then fall into their little trap.
Right.
Speaking of scams, you dodged a scam earlier on your cell phone.
I did, man. You witnessed one of the good ones.
It was 15 minutes of just like phone jumping, them making you jump to another person and then another person, and then you were like, well, I'm 75 years old. And they were like, well, no problems there.
Yeah.
You sound like a 75-year-old man.
And then they sent me to someone else, and like, so, like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm 75 years old. So what state are you? Or no, like, what's your zip code? I'm like 90210, which is Beverly Hills, California.
Yeah.
It was a fucking TV show. It was a fucking TV show. And then they're like, okay, well, do you still reside in Missouri? I'm like, yeah. Yep.
It sure is sad here. What's funny is that, like, they would send you to all these people as if they weren't all in the same, like, 10 by 10 building.
Yeah, that's what's so funny. It's like, why are you laughing? And then, what? Because, like, we started laughing because at this point, it was like 6 or 7 times, and I was asked how old I was, and I was like, for the 6th or 7th time, I'm 75 years old.
They were just all they were offering you was like $175 or something.
I'm like, well, how can I pay for it? And they're like, well, we don't want you to pay for it. And I'm like, well, why are we on the phone?
Yeah, well, do you want my money?
Why are you calling me?
You guys are bad at scamming.
Yeah,
if you were good, I would have accidentally gotten got.
Yeah.
As a joke. You'd have all my shit right now.
It blows my mind, though, because
I know.
Why?
They stunk.
Well, the thing is, like, you think these databases, I know they buy these numbers, but you think they would have, like, files on these numbers and be like, hey, this person continuously fucks with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, let's not call
them.
Just
a little coded, like, simple thing they can put in for, like, you're like a code red, you know, because you are goofing on them.
Yeah, because I will talk to them, but it's never going to be anything to be a waste of your time.
Now you're a code gray because you're 75 years old.
I'm 75 years old, and I reside in Missouri.
In Missouri, yeah.
Which is interesting. If you saw Missouri, you see Missouri.
Yeah.
Is that how you think it's Missouri? I would think Missouri. Yeah, maybe.
I feel like you can. It's easy to make that mistake. Not know it, like not being. Obviously, we know what it is because we're from here.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, it's like what, Arkansas? Like if you were from there, you'd call it Arkansas. It sounds so weird for us to say it because like it's Arkansas. But.
Well, I think wasn't that one of the original, like when they were coming up the name, because it's an Indian word for, like, I think red dirt or something.
Something like something like that.
Or something like that. And could easily just Google it.
They're all Native American names. Like
yeah,
names.
Kansas is American. Kansas, Oklahoma. Missouri. Yeah, because Missouri is Iowa. Yeah, these are all Indian names or Indian words. So Dakotas. Yeah.
I was in South Dakota.
How was it?
I was in. It was fun.
What part?
Pierre,
the capital.
We didn't know that.
You didn't know
no,
Pierre
Carlos and I went up there.
Okay,
yeah,
nice.
I got one of my buddies up in South Dakota. I think books a show up there or something, but he couldn't make it, so he hit me up and was like, "You're gonna get a lot of money to do this." And I was like, "I'll do anything for a lot of money."
Yeah.
So I got Carlos, and he gave him.
It's only like an 9 hour drive.
10.
No, 10.
No, it was right at 8.
Yeah, 8
from Weston.
Yeah.
Casey is probably about 9.
Well, because from Sioux Falls, it's only like 5 hours
from here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's 3 hours from Sioux Falls.
Because it's all on the other side of the state.
It wasn't that bad. Like it really. Of course, driving.
It's a weird. It's a weird name. It's a weird capital.
No, it's the fucking capital.
Yeah, it's a French name.
Yeah.
It's like
it's a fur trap
yeah.
town. But yeah, we went because it was funny. It was funny because we were like, "What's when we got there, we were joking about how there would be a state capitol there. And I was like, that's probably a state capitol. And I think it actually was. I was just making fun of it because it looked weird.
Yeah. It had like the little dome with the little pointing thing at the top with the eagle.
Yeah, I think it did.
Out of all the animals still, we could have done better. I think we could have done better than eagle. But,
yeah. Eagles are fine, I guess. I don't know. Why is it always got to be a bird?
Yeah. Is it because it soars above everything? Is that one of those? Is that the concept that it's going for?
I don't know.
Because there's so much better animals.
There are better animals than...
Because we should have done like a bear. It should have been like a bear.
For sure. Bears. Or like maybe even a
like
stag.
An elk.
Like an elk.
I would think an elk is a lot more... I guess it's not as intimidating. Moose. That's what I was thinking of.
Big-ass fucking monster of an animal.
Did you ever hear the story of like how Benjamin Franklin was
the turkey?
Yeah, he wanted the turkey, but he was the ambassador, the American ambassador for France.
Oh yeah,
and he went over there, and they were like, Europe literally had a thought that if you come to America, that you will literally get stupid. The animals are smaller, like every concept, everything. We're just smaller people because we're dumber. We're just dumb. And so he was like, yeah, but if you come to the States, like literally all of our animals, our deers, our moose, everything is twice the size of your animals. And he's like, no, they're like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And they're like, no, seriously, French people, it really is. Yeah. And so what he did was he hired people to bring a dead moose to France. But it takes 2 weeks from inland to get to the coast. And from the coast, it takes a couple months to get overseas. So in the process of this, he was just taking dead parts of animals and connecting it together.
Good Lord. Ben Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
This is what our founding father. Yeah. He was a freak.
What was the thing that...
What's so funny, though, is like he was like fucking old when he signed the Declaration. Like 70s. He was like 70 in the 70s, right? Mm-hmm. So he was old in our standards. Yeah. So he was a goddamn Jesus for them.
Like, how'd you make it this long, you fat fuck?
Yeah.
Well, fucking everything that moves doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm. French woman.
Yeah, French for sure. When they excavated his old house, because it was like a national or societal treasure or whatever the fuck.
Right.
So people would do like tours there. But anyway, they like excavated the basement, like under the ground. They found like 10 different bodies.
Jesus.
Like bones of people.
I'm not shocked. Are you shocked?
Who knows what that was? Nobody's ever been like, oh, I wonder if Ben Franklin was, because he's like revered or whatever. He's Paul revered. But,
yeah, he's Paul revered.
But yeah, it's just kind of like, well, maybe he did, maybe he didn't.
Woof.
He's still on our money. He's on our money.
He is
never president.
Mm-mm.
People forget that, or don't even realize he was never president. That's like fucking putting Bernie Sanders on money. Like a guy with good ideas. That was it, pretty much. I guess he came up with bifocals, like Ben Franklin and electricity. Forgot about that.
The key, yeah, because he with the
nephew or whatever.
The kite and the key.
Yeah, kite and the key. That's my young adult.
Is that even a true story or not? Or
I don't know.
You know why? George Washington, like why his mouth always looked so puffy, was because he had fake teeth and
well, his teeth weren't fake.
They were made out of slave teeth.
They were slave teeth
connected to wood, and that had springs on it. So like he could, like I guess,
so cool.
chew. I don't know what the fuck.
Not the whole part about it, slave teeth, but the springs that rule.
But yeah, that's why his cheeks were so puffy, was because he had these springs in him.
It's weird to think about how the chances of like all the founding fathers and all these other guys, how high the chances are that they were constantly fucked up on something.
Oh, it had to have been. Dude, they were
couldn't drink water.
They were renegades.
Yeah.
They were like, well, we were British people and we said fuck you and we left, because if they would have lost, they would have just been they would have been treasoned. It would have been So
Nixed.
Done.
Nixon.
Yeah, so I was like, guys, come on. Like,
looking up to
do you see why we're so fucking weird? Like, America is so weird just because we had our founding fathers were fucking crazy fucks.
Insane. Even the people that came over here.
But yeah, they want to put this thing saying that we like, oh, they were pioneers, and they're like, I mean, for an extent,
Christian men. Most of them weren't Christians at all. Most of them were like fucking. I mean, Thomas Jefferson was like raping his slaves and owned slaves to begin with. He was a bad guy, probably. It's okay. Like, it's funny to think, like, the light went out. It's funny to think that, what was I going to say? Like, they're so looked up to. You know, like they're so propagandized into this like
being this
amazing
all-knowing,
people
this all-knowing being.
God sent us. But like some of them, I feel like it was Thomas Jefferson said that the Constitution should be revised every 20 years. Like it should be liquid.
I mean, that makes sense for the standards of human.
Because it's not the same as it is now, obviously.
Yeah.
Or
like,
was it back then?
Like how like they're so like, oh, why do you want to change anything?
Yeah.
I mean, like just because people change.
Yeah.
We're humans.
Yeah.
Like fuck, we get a different iPhone every year. Like,
yeah, well, it's like they didn't know shit about shit. You know, like George Washington died before dinosaurs were discovered.
Yeah.
He didn't know about dinosaurs.
That's also crazy.
Crazy. And it's not his fault, but it's crazy to think about. You know, and evolution wasn't even really a huge theory. I think it was an idea I think the first person that came up with evolution was like a Catholic monk.
I thought it was, what's his nuts?
Darwin.
Yeah.
Darwin revolutionized and pushed it. But the originally, like the idea of it was from this like just Catholic guy.
Think about that. Think about being that dude.
If a religious person came up with something like that,
yeah,
how people would feel now, because you can't do that.
Yeah,
you have to be.
Well, think about it. It was like you and I, and I came up to you and I was like, "Hey, buddy, okay, there's this idea I've been thinking about. I've been just swinging around. Think about what if we like evolved from like some animals? Like you'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Some animals? I'm like, okay, see how monkeys are kind of like us, and like they kind of look like us, and like what if like we once start off in a version of like that, and then
millions of years ago,
and
then over time just slowly became
like different.
I'd be like, prove it.
I'm like, I can't.
Yeah. See, that's the difference between most people and like religious people is that religious people don't want you to prove it. They're just like, nope, you're wrong, because you can't prove it to them.
No.
You're just like, well, a lot of religious people believe in evolution. People believe that God used it as a tool to get us to where we are. Which begs the question, like, why did he make dinosaurs then?
Yeah, why would you go through all the process of all that?
The other shit before, like, if we were his grand idea, why didn't he just put us here?
Mm-hmm. But
which is why I understand like young Earth creationists and why they believe in that. Because if you are a religious person and you believe that the Earth is 4 billion years old, like it is, then none of it really makes sense.
No, because there's no numbers that have that.
There's no reason why God would wait so long. You know, it's crazy. Unless he put it all there and then just said, okay, here we go. And then because really 4 billion years to a god would be nothing, right? So just be like, all right, I'm just going to let it lay and see what happens. And then we're just an experiment, so why would we want to worship that guy? It doesn't really, it's just benevolent, like doesn't really care.
I always like to think that like my biggest thing is like I think that like we're on like a checkerboard. And like all of like, you know, Zeus, God, Jesus, Muhammad, all these dudes are just up here, just kind of like moving shit around, just kind of fucking. That's like the only thing I can think of that would remotely make any sense if it was real. It's like because like we're all like, and every sense like there is every religion there's a God being ish thing that created everything. So we all believe the same fucking shit, more or less, right? Yeah. The only thing is like we just have different car dealer like. People who's car salesmen. Yeah, that's the only thing that's different. Yeah, but we're all buying a car. We all believe in that cars are real. That our car is the thing to have. Yeah. So that's what. If any of all that made sense, dude, that's the thing that makes the most sense to me.
It is just picking out which makes the most sense to you.
Yeah.
Which proves that people
that we don't know what
in anything.
Yeah, we don't know what we're talking about.
You know, if they're convinced enough. And so much of it is based on, you know, where you grew up and who you grew up around. Because, like, you ask any Christian, like, white Christian American.
Why are you Christian?
Well, what would you be if you were born in India? You know, like, say you were still you had the same parents, you were white, but you were on, like, a military base in, like, the United Arab Emirates.
Oh, okay.
Why wouldn't you be Muslim?
Yeah. Why would they not at least have some taste or or like something
or
of
like
the Muslims.
Perspective to where you're not like a horrible person to Muslims just because they're different than you.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, well, I would have eventually gotten to Christianity. It's like, no, you probably wouldn't have. I mean, you would have known about it. But you would have been indoctrinated into Hinduism or whatever is up there.
Even with like my parents, like I wouldn't have known as much about Muslim and Muslim stories if it wasn't for my parents having a Quran in the house. Yeah. And they were just like, if you want to look at it, fucking look at it. We don't give a shit.
That's weirdly open-minded for pretty religious people.
Yeah.
I can't believe that still.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that, like I would have never learned that aspect, or it would have taken me till now when everyone else is getting woke.
Well, and when that like you can just do that for yourself. Like we all have that not all of us obviously, but we all have that thing that goes off like, I got to figure this out on my own, or try to,
right.
Just any general idea.
I remember when I was going through that, like that trying, like, just questioning, wanting to know things, because when you're 20, like I was 22, and I was living in Los Angeles, and I was smoking a lot of pot, and so when you're young like that, you're thinking, that was literally 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
You just think differently. I was a child too, so I was going around to different churches. So I'd go into like a Methodist church, and I was like, "So what's up? What's your story?"
Yeah.
And I went into the Scientology stuff. I'm like, "What's your fucking story, buddy?" And like all they did with them, all they did was show me videos. I'm like, "No, I want to talk to someone. I want to understand, why do you believe this shit?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, because they could have had me if they would have if there was a salesperson during
just convincing enough.
They could have gotten me easily.
You're a free agent.
Yeah, because I was looking around.
Shopping around. Yeah.
I was just, and then I went and I talked to a rabbi, and I'm like, this seems like the most chillest one of all of them.
Sure.
I'm like, let's go with this. Like, let's chill with this.
Yeah.
And be good and just take it. I take it as face value. Like
it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Like you, when there's like a religious thing that goes on, you're like, oh, you look at why is it? Most of the time, it's just because out of respect of something, out of something else. And that's what all religion really is, or all like holidays, is that just, hey, be kind during this time.
Take a day off.
Yeah. And so,
think about the trees or whatever. Most of our holidays are based on pagan rituals.
Yeah, which is funny as hell because
Easter.
Because they were only reason why they did that was because they wanted those people to be involved because they make the numbers bigger.
They wanted to steal their shit.
Yeah.
Numbers are important.
Numbers are huge.
And right now, it's a close game.
Very close.
For God.
So how big was the venue that you did?
It was probably like a 40, 50 seater, but there was only like 10 people there.
Okay.
But it was fun. Like I did 55 minutes.
Oh shit! So you did a solid time.
Yeah. So Carlos did 25.
I guess you do have that much time.
I've got it. It's just hard to. Obviously, there aren't that many chances.
Is it all about pacing for you? Is it all about a pace
well, I mean,
and keeping
I haven't been able to figure out quite how, like, is it scams?
Yeah.
I haven't been able to figure out because I haven't had enough chances to do like an hour, that I haven't figured out how exactly to do it. Like for 30 minutes it's getting better, and for 30 to 40 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever, it's a little bit better. But yeah, I found myself about 35 minutes in, like, what the fuck do I do right now? But then I looked at I had my notes on stage, and I looked at it for like a second. I was like, oh, I still got some shit. So
nice.
Good.
Okay.
I didn't serve some like crowd work and stuff, and the people there were cool. I sold like 6 shirts.
Solid.
Which is great. Like I made over $400 there.
Solid, man. It's good.
So yeah, it was fun.
And you don't have to pronounce any of it.
Oh, nobody's ever gonna know nothing about it unless they look at Venmos. But yeah, then they bought it. They got us a hotel, and
oh, nice, even better.
Great, got free food and drinks there.
Solid.
I did drink there.
How well?
I felt
beers?
that I needed to. Yeah, for sure.
Beers.
It was funny because I went down because the venue is upstairs in the bar. It's a bar gas station too, which I love. I've something I've learned about comedy is to just never worry about what's on the outside of the venue, and just like, oh yeah, it's a fucking gas station. But also there's this like legit actual bar
inside
restaurant with a venue.
That's awesome.
Which was great. But I was down ordering food and getting a beer, and the hostess was talking to this couple that was leaving, and she was like, you guys sure you're gonna leave? There's a comedy show tonight. And the wife was like oh yeah, we got kids to go watch. And then the husband was like, got some darts to throw. I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I knew. What I knew you.
Yeah,
were
that sounds like something that someone from
Dakota
here, South Dakota, would
got
say.
Darts to throw.
We got
like, God, I wish
got darts to throw. We got kids to watch.
Yeah. Like, man, take me with you. I want to toss some fucking darts. For sure.
That actually would be that would sound kind of fun.
No, I love throwing. I throw them like a baseball.
Just
like,
bam.
Yeah, I wind up and everything, and I fucking hit it every time, which is great. Feels good.
I was going to talk to you about something. What was it? So I recently heard like some advice about like writing and stuff. So I was kind of curious on what your opinions on this would be, because I thought it was actually quite profound in my world, because I'm like, oh, it opens up a new door for me. It opened up a new door for writing.
Yeah,
and I never really like thought about really. So instead of writing stuff, because most of the time I don't know if you do it, but I write or I make stuff for myself. Like podcasts, even though it's a bullshit thing, it's for me because it's like it's practice for stuff.
Yeah.
Instead, make stuff for other people.
And other voices.
Yeah. So I started looking at that as my writing because that's the easiest form of doing that right now. And so, what's your opinion on that? Like, do you do that for your art?
I think it's good. Like, I've come across this before because I was comedians will write like spec scripts, right, of other shows that have already happened, like The Office and Friends or whatever, and those are in other people's voices, basically.
Right?
And because I don't want to write a spec script ever. I don't really like enough TV shows or care about them deeply enough to know the characters well enough to be able to write about them. I understand the merits. I think it's good to be able to get out of your comfort zone and write as if you were somebody, like in the perspective of somebody else, for sure.
Well, not even just that, but just like instead of writing, like you tend to write about love stories, right? Instead of that, you're going to start writing about what's popular, what's popular in the niche right now. Yeah. You start writing stories about that, and you start trying to.
I think it's good.
Good, yeah.
I mean, I've done that, I guess, in a way. Like I've tried to write poetry before, or like stories, or like biographical journals or whatever. I've written barely a script before of like this loosely based on my comedy career show kind of shit. But I've done that in my like free writing, just trying to write in different ways, and especially like short stories. I've written a lot, not recently, but within the last decade, I've written plenty of short stories.
Right.
But a lot of them are also kind of like ways for me to use my jokes in them in writing,
see if they work
and see what comes out of that. But yeah, I think like because eventually I know I'm going to probably have to write for something.
Right. That's not something that was personal
that I
for
do.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to come up with something on my own, but I don't have the clout or the draw or whatever.
Right. Well, the reason why I even like am bringing this up is because like I started taking my writing and I'm like, okay, I'm doing all this. I write every day, 300 words.
What's that like? Usually 2 pages or something.
300 words. Yeah, well, maybe like it's 300 words. It's like maybe a page.
That much, yeah,
it's not that much. But the thing is, like, if you force yourself instead of like time, like some people are like, okay, every day I block out 3 hours and I write. That's great. That's awesome. That's a lot of time. I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah.
And then within that time, like some days they might get like 2,000 words. Some days they may only make 100 words, 800 words, 600 words.
Get
something
pages
like that.
Then.
Yeah. But the thing is, if you force yourself to do 300 words, at the end of that day you're going to have 300 words.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the week, times 300 by 7. 2,100 words. No matter what, you'll have, and that's enough for most competitions, a story.
Sure.
They want only a 2,000 words or less. And now I'm like, well, fuck yeah. And so I'm just taking prompts. I'm like, they're prompts, and I'm just writing stories. I'm not even like trying to sit here and be like, okay, what kind of, what happened to me? What has happened to me that I need to do this? Or like, you eat a hot dog and you somehow make a pun out of a one-liner joke out of a hot dog. Instead of that, you're using these other things. And now I feel it has a little bit more of a purpose. I feel, because like I'm entering these into contests, so I'm losing like $20, $25, $15 at a time, whatever. But I'm getting a fucking story.
Yeah, whatever.
And like I'm pumping out a bunch of different stories, and it's kind of more there's a purpose to it more. I don't know if you think I don't know. I'm assuming you've probably written longer than I have. Consistently
I barely ever write.
Really?
Notoriously not a writer.
Okay.
Like I've written a million jokes, but I don't like sitting down and writing that much. I like when I moved back, I did it for like a month and it was fun. But it's tailed off. Like it goes in and out, cyclical kind of shit. Right.
Well, I just like I don't know. I just look at it as like it's just one of those things you have to do.
You have to do it. Yeah, for sure. And I'm getting back into that thought process now, because I'll put it off and start thinking about like other stuff like booking, and I'm very one-track minded. Like it's hard for me to make something a priority and then put it to the wayside for something else, like in the midst of this other thing. But I've got like I put together a little like a short little book that I wanted of like short stories, like jokes that I liked but never worked. A few poems that I made that are kind of funny, just little shit like that that I plan on. It's already up on Amazon, but I want to like buy a bunch of them and sell them for merch.
Yeah,
because it's just a bunch of old short stories I wrote.
Yeah, it's
and which I liked. Like, there's so many that I don't give a shit about, but most of them I did like.
I've thought about I've gotten to the point with like my stories now where I'm like, Aaron, do you want to make an extra like $20? Where like I want you just to read my story and record it, and so I can listen to it when I'm at work, so I can hear what another voice.
You know what I've heard from people? I have a nice voice.
Yeah, and like it would be, and like you can read well, so it's like it's. I'm like, I give you like just read the story. I don't give a shit if you like it or not. Like that's not the point. I just want to do it so I can have it, so I can listen to it at work when I'm working, so I can like, okay, well I can change this part, because it's a lot different than like I usually just have the computer read it back to me, and it's like but there's a lot of words that they don't know because it's an accent or something like that. Yeah, and so and it just says it. I'm like, well, does this really work or does it not work? And
I'll do it.
Okay, well,
I'll be your reader. I'll
be
your
awesome.
Little reader boy.
Yeah, I'm thinking like that. That's like the next thing.
Okay.
And then, it's just like always. It's always fucking shit.
Yeah, I know.
It's like
something to do.
Well, because it's like at this point, it's like I'm kind of like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, like we
what
gotta
do
do. Yeah, what are we, and like today I just bought a Canon 7D.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, we're just getting fucking bump shit up.
Sure, why not?
Like, well, like. I live rent free.
Yeah,
like my car payments aren't that much. Like
that's what I'm thinking about now too.
Yeah.
Like since moving back, like this is I can do anything I want.
You have so much money, and then like I have a gig in Orlando in a couple months.
Really?
Yeah, going there to shoot some shit for a hotel.
Cool.
Like, just filming. That's usually why I got the camera. So I had a nicer, better, because the 7D I bought, they used that one in what was it, Breaking Bad? Yeah, a lot of the external shots were just shot with 7Ds, and so I'm like, okay, well, that's enough that like that'll work, and that's what I told them, like, yeah, I'm using the same kind of camera as like the outside shots of like Breaking Bad, and they're like, oh, that's cool. Like, they have no clue what the fuck that means.
Bud. We don't give a shit if it looks like Breaking Bad.
I'm like, it's only the outside shots. It's like it's not what you guys are thinking, but whatever. We'll just go with it.
Yeah,
but yeah, so it's like, fuck, dude.
Shit or get off the pot, dog.
Kinda. Well,
like
it's art.
Eternal.
It's fucking art, and you just gotta start. You just gotta be making it all the time, and it's just now. I'm like, since I write so much.
Yeah. I forget
that
I
should be
putting it out there,
like
doing something with it.
Yeah, because I'm like, what the fuck am I doing with like having 180 stories and not doing anything with these stories and continuously making new stories?
Yeah. There was this. I saw something about this guy. He had passed away. And so it's like family members. I don't know if he even had family, but they were digging through his, like, he lived in New York, and they were digging through his apartment, and they found like hundreds of these paintings that he had done.
Really?
Like these books and stories and all this shit that he had done, and it's like masterpieces, like this.
But he just did it for the fun of it?
He did it for himself. His own style of all this shit. He wrote like a massive book, like 22,000 pages long, of this like weird epic story about some like girls getting. I don't know. It's a whole fucking thing.
Right.
The title of it is like The Girls of something. I don't remember what it was. But yeah, it's like Van Gogh. Like, he wasn't famous until after he died. Like, this guy's just like selling millions of dollars worth of shit.
I guess it doesn't really matter because you're gonna be dead. But what if that were to happen with your art? What if that happened with you?
That'd be cool. I want like I think back to like Mitch Hedberg, who died famous, like as a comedian, but
I just last week watched one of his last sets, and he was rough at just all over the goddamn place.
He has since gotten more famous, because when you die you become
idolized because you
die in your prime.
You're cemented into this weird time frame.
2005 stuck forever. But yeah, I mean, I think about that sometimes, like, because I don't have a special or anything or a CD or whatever, but I know like people would go back to my YouTube videos or whatever, like my TikToks and all that other shit, and be like, oh, that was good. I hope they do. Shit, I would suck if they didn't.
And that's another thing too. I had to start
I
had to take all my clips, like my clips from YouTube, not YouTube, from Instagram, and I have to like screen record them, and then I'm gonna have to post them on fucking on TikTok. And that's what my TikTok's gonna be, is just strictly just all that. And I'm gonna slowly because I feel like my Instagram has gotten just all it is just me promoting. It's literally nothing else. So I'm gonna take that back, and I'm gonna use TikTok as my way of like promoting all that shit. And so I'm not flooding my Instagram and like, because what it is, it's annoying, because I can get why someone get annoyed by my shit if all I'm not posting any pictures of me doing shit. It's just me posting.
You look it's like a job.
Yeah, it's a fucking weird. And like, so like, it's not that I can't post it there, but I'm gonna take a step back from it and then put it someplace else.
I mean, TikTok's good for it, especially if you like pop off in some way and. Like, yeah,
because I feel like it's a little bit easy. Like, I don't. It's all hard.
Easier.
It's all hard. I'm not saying it's not any of this is easy. I'm just saying, but it seems like it's a little bit more productive in a place in that setting.
That's the right place,
because you're expecting it. You're on Instagram. You're kind of expecting just a picture of just like abs or pictures of like someone eating. Of me like flexing that kind of thing.
It had that before Reels were a thing, and like TikTok is built for that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Like the algorithm is gamed for that.
So,
but I mean, I finally got some videos that did okay, and I haven't posted in like probably a week.
Right.
Because I got tired of it, and then I've almost run out of videos to post, basically. But I still get like a lot of views a day and likes and shit and followers. It's not like fucking crazy. If I was posting still, I would get more, but you still get stuff because like the algorithm will like highlight a video from a month ago for no real reason.
It doesn't seem like whatever how the algorithm works. I'm just like,
bizarre.
Let's go.
Same with Instagram too. Like,
well, yeah, Instagram's insanely weird because like I will post one of those my memes through like my stories. And then like a month later, they're like, "Hey, just let you know, like, that meme that you posted about like a month and a half ago, that was false information."
Really?
And we're just like, I'm like, "Well, no shit."
No.
I mean, like, who in the fuck thinks they come to my thing and like, besides the football shit, besides the football stuff, all that is real facts.
Yeah.
Everything else is just make believe. It's just me making fun of shit.
It's just memes.
Yeah, it's memes.
But like, one video I posted probably 3 weeks ago on there was just my stand-up. Didn't do shit, right, for the first 2 weeks. And now, like, for the past week, it didn't get a ton of views, it got like 3,000 more views or something, but it was just like from random people, nobody I know. It was just the algorithm pushing it out there a little bit. That shit happens to Dayton like crazy.
All right,
like, you'll have a video that was posted a month ago that gets like 1,000 likes in a week.
It's like, what the fuck?
Like, how?
Yeah,
it doesn't make any fucking sense.
It's just because it becomes in the niche of the moment.
In the net, and gets fucking catapulted into the ether.
Well, what's so awesome? That's how like the videos used to be before Facebook bought Instagram. That's how our videos used to be because we would get thousands of fucking views. Like we wouldn't get that many likes, only like maybe 25 to like 40 likes.
Nobody was posting videos.
No, but no one was. Exactly. No one was posting videos.
It was like YouTube in 2005.
Yeah, so like everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is so fucking cool!" That like no matter what kind of video you posted, you almost kind of got a lot of
off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, come on.
But yeah, and then it all weirdly fluctuated.
It's weird. It's all weird. I mean, we're all just slaves to the algorithm.
And like, it's so funny because like I need to get verified because I have enough shit that if you just Google me, it's a filmmaker. It's a filmmaker. So, but I just don't want to have to sit through and do that process just to have the computer say that I'm a real person.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's like I am a real person.
Thing.
It's like all this for a blue check mark.
Good.
Yeah. Like I should on Instagram because it would make my account more just verified because that's what it's called. But it would make it better. It just help the channel or the page.
Pop it off.
But it's like, the idea of like me have to do this so I get like some sort of validation from a computer. Because that's all it is. I'm getting validation from an algorithm.
Where you're constantly at odds with like, this is all I need to do, and also, is this worth it?
Yeah.
Like you know exactly what you want to do, but why do you want to waste your time on it?
Well, like waste my. I guess
like it's just that's what I thought with TikTok for so long. It was just like I put in the work to edit this video. which at the time was hard because I had never done that on my phone. I hate doing shit on my phone. And then nobody would watch it. I was just like, fuck this.
Right.
You know, I'd get pissed. I'd get mad and upset about it. And then I just like, I don't care anymore. I just don't care. And then I would I tried it again. I deleted them all, tried it again, deleted them all, tried it again. Something caught and it worked.
I say fuck it. I just post and ghost with my shit.
That's what I do now. I mean, I don't really care anymore.
You can't really think about it and worry because it's
all your shit. And if you want, you can just delete it and put it on there again.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah,
especially on TikTok, dude.
Yeah.
Like the way that shit works is like most of the people who see it are not going to be the people that know you or follow you.
Yeah.
It's going to be different people. And like the algorithm rarely shows who you follow on your like For You page when you're just scrolling through videos.
Really?
Very rarely. It'll happen, but it's not like because they want you to see other shit, you know, and they have the option for you to go to the page where you can see just the people you follow.
Nice.
But they want you to see the random videos. That's like the point of the app.
But yes, it's such a very crazy thing.
It's a pain in the ass because like comedians are getting legitimized by, you know, having these successful TikToks, but they suck at comedy.
Oh,
you know, so many of them, and so many of them are like that's their whole thing is that
I just have 20,000. Like,
is that they're bad? That is their thing too. Is that they're like, oh, I'm big on TikTok. Like that's a fucking credit.
Because like I've never used that once as clout.
Yeah,
I'm just like I have a decent amount of followers on Instagram, but like, do you not see my like? If it was such a big deal, then I would have thousands of likes on every picture I post. On every video of like the same shit. Like people just wouldn't care then. But it's not. That's not how the shit fucking works, dog. Like you got to do the shit on the other side of it too.
But yeah, like there's one guy I know of specifically. I think he's like an LA open micer, and he just writes the worst jokes. Has the worst stage presence. Horrible. Like he has to be new because he's garbage. And he gets like, you know, fucking 50,000 views on these fuckers.
Jesus.
And it's all bad, and it's all comments of like random people being like, just keep going up, you know, or people saying like, this guy fucking sucks.
Yeah,
like, how does this guy do well? He's not getting booked on shit. Like, there's no fucking way. Move it. Move everything. You want a beer? No, I'm good. Thanks so. I'm gonna not drink again for a little bit. I got pretty hammered in San Diego or South Dakota. I keep saying San Diego. The elevation really got me. I don't know if it's higher up or not.
So we're part of my most recent stories taking place is in San Diego.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with a half black, half Colombian girl.
Oh.
Well, the character, his name's Juanito Tinoco, which is roughly like, I guess that's me.
Yeah.
No, it's me. And then it's just like random escapades that he gets into.
Mm-hmm.
Very cliche story based, but it is just it allows for you to have a lot of different stories, and you connect as an audience member to one character instead of me having like Ben, Jim, Jerry, Kim,
Benjamin.
Yeah, I don't know. I've always thought like, why not just connect with one guy and then just write a lot of stories about that one character?
Yeah, why not?
Because you can just build on that guy just instead of having to think. But then I also feel like I'm going to hinder myself if I have to write scripts or something. Because I'm like, fuck. But it's... No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
You started the first one, you can do another one.
Yeah.
Why not?
So.
Believe in yourself.
That's true, too. That's the only other thing, too. I'm like,
it's all in your head.
Yeah, it's all in your head. It really, honestly, is all in your head.
You're pigeonholed. It's like, no, I'm not.
No, you're not.
I'm good.
No.
I can write about anything.
Yeah. And
Who cares?
The thing is, like, if this whole thing is a goddamn marathon, like everyone keeps fucking saying, like on these podcasts and all this stuff, like, then, like, this story really, in retrospect, doesn't mean goddamn shit.
Sure.
Because in a year, where am I going to be in a year and a half from, or a year from now?
Who knows? Yeah.
Like, would I even want this character anymore? Will I want it? Like, will I
get it out now?
Yeah. While like no one's watching. That's another thing too. Is like, John, do all these podcasts, get all these fucking wrinkles out now. So like, if someone like, or if something happens, it's bigger.
Sure.
You're not like fucking scrambling.
To show people to go back on.
Well, not even that. It's just like you're not scrambling of like, this is the first big production. This is the first thing I fucking filmed in a long fucking time. So you know what I mean? Like you're not ever. You're always been like, yeah, you've been doing this all the time. It's just now it just is. You have people below you.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Well, it is what it is.
I'm below you because I don't know how to do any of this.
No, you're right next to me because It's so much better to do a podcast with someone else.
I know.
Versus doing them by yourself.
I enjoy doing like when I did the solo joke podcast. I liked that, but it was only because I was talking about myself for 30 minutes. That's it.
Well, that's why I do.
Yeah,
that's
fun.
what the Juan Solo show is.
It's
just
so
me talking to myself.
self-indulging, but like that's what that's part of the fucking business. That's why part of why we do it is to make ourselves look better and feel better. Right. Who cares? It's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If somebody doesn't like that, then they can fucking go back to their 9 to 5 at Subway or whatever.
Right. Oh, talking about Subway, I just did a huge deep dive on Subway today.
Just the restaurant?
Yeah.
All
so
right.
did you know that the owner of Subway, he had like a whole like before like his very first store was like Pete's Deli or something like that, and it was basically the concept of what Subway is now. Yeah. And his whole thing was like his son, which is like I think was 22 at the time when he came up with the business concept of the store of like what Subway would be, was basically like, hey, I'd be like, hey Aaron, you want to get a Subway from me, and then I sell it to you. And then basically I don't tell you or I don't promise you that there's going to be like a boundary district between you and the next Subway. Oh. And so I can build one next, then I can sell one right next to you, another one else. And thing is like we have private health inspections. So that means like if your spinach is brighter than like what we want it to be, we can dock you for that. And if you get like multiple docks, then we can just pull back that Subway. But you'll still have to pay us the money. Yeah,
the franchisee money.
Yeah, until the contract is over. And then, but we will also be able to then sell it half price to somebody else.
Yeah.
And that was the whole business model. And that's usually why there's so many Subways.
There's so many of them, yeah.
Because
the most of any fast food restaurant in America.
Because like their whole model too is also if you have like just a plug-in, you're good to go because it's all deli meat.
Yeah,
it's all cold shit.
Nothing.
It's nothing.
Yeah, you just need a cooler, and now you need a toaster oven.
Yeah,
or like soup. Who orders soup at Subway? You ever had it?
Mm-hmm.
You had soup?
I've
Subway
had soup on Subway once.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's all right.
It's just regular ass soup. It's like cream of broccoli or some shit.
Yeah.
Cheesy broccoli, whatever the fuck. Cream of broccoli.
Cream of broccoli.
Who's creaming broccoli? I've never had their soup.
The cream from a broccoli.
I feel like I've had their pizza before, which was fine.
I've had their pizza too.
I just ate there in South Dakota. I had a fucking meatball sandwich.
But yeah, it's and then do you know that in South is it South Korea the good one?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I should have said it like that.
No, you're right.
Is that the best way of saying that? Like
South Korea, the free one.
Yeah. The one with all like technology and all the
people.
Yeah, the people, the great stuff, and the Hyundai, the ones that make the Hyundai that my cars. Thank you. And so they have a whole like drama show based around Subway.
Did you ever notice?
It's on YouTube. Yeah, you should watch. It's called Sunway.
Sunway.
Yeah, Sunway.
Did you ever notice that whenever
Sunway? Sunway is right here. Sunway.
Oh, you got it pulled up.
Yeah.
There was a point when Netflix had got like the licensing rights to like 1 billion different Korean dramas.
Oh boy,
like teen dramas, and they just dropped them all on Netflix. And like it was, if you went to like the recently uploaded tab or whatever. Just all these fucking like goofy named like the one of I love or whatever, like it was, or the one I love.
Because it translates different.
Well, it does, but it's also like they're all like grammatically correct, but it's just like, why is it called this? You know, like this doesn't really make sense in the way that you guys thought it made sense.
Mm-hmm. Or is it because they structure their sentences differently?
Maybe. I never watched any.
Okay.
I should have. But they all have like one season too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I was like, fucking.
What are you
just
doing?
Pump and dump. Yeah.
It's like a pump and dump kind of scheme.
It's like British TV is the same way. They have like 6 episodes per season and then 2 seasons and then they're done. It's great. Get it. Well,
that's how like Netflix. If they don't really trust your show, but they want to give you a chance, they'll give you 6 episodes.
6 episodes, I think, has always been the like first season.
But I think that's like a perfect. I honestly think that's a perfect amount of episodes because I don't. The thing that makes me mad is when. And I get it. I understand, especially as like 2 people who sit down and write all the time, is that like you will do a show will do great. No, do great the first season, and then in between the first and second season, because they already filmed the second season.
Yeah.
Usually, most of the time, it's the contracts are like you get 2 seasons. We might air the second one if it does good enough. You know,
Get syndicated.
Yeah, and they can start telling pretty early if it's going to be worthy enough to. But then what they do is they then in between the first and second season, because everyone loves it so much, they give you a third season.
Oh yeah.
And then the second season becomes like this bridge season, and it becomes so fucking weird because like you've built all this climax with these characters, and then now you're just throwing us backstory.
Yeah.
So you'll give us
nothing's concluded.
Yeah. So you give us this whole episode, which doesn't have to do with anything about what the subject matter of the show is.
Yeah.
But you'll give it to me, so you and like they'll do an episode of you and I doing podcasts and like building it up, like from like episode 1 with that small little table, moving away, moving to other places, coming back to the same place that we're doing this podcast again. They'll do that, but it makes no sense to the fucking whole show.
Nothing.
But they'll do it just so that you have a backstory, I'll have more of a backstory. So then in season 3 we care more. But it's like that's not how you should be doing this. You should be just have your foot on the pedal the whole time, don't you think?
Yeah, I think American TV lasts too long.
That's true too.
I think like you don't need 6 seasons for most stuff.
It's for a more storyline to continue.
Yeah, because that's like at least with sitcoms, like they all want to be 6 seasons. Like at least.
You see, you think it's probably because it's like 100 episodes you get syndicated and you're good to go.
What was the fucking? Remember when 2.5 Men was like huge or whatever, and Charlie Sheen was going through his fucking nightmare renaissance.
Right.
He had they syndicated it, and they just recorded 100 episodes in like a month.
Yeah,
you know,
and it was different people because like that was like during the time when like they were like, we'll try Ashton Kutcher, we'll try this person as
just, like,
Charlie Sheen's character. Yeah,
and I just remember thinking like 100 fucking why?
Yeah.
Like,
what do you like?
I
mean, I guess like as an an actor at that point, you'd be like, fuck it. Like I guess like I might as well just get the check.
Well, if you sign the contract, sure. If you're obligated,
and even as a director, I guess like I fucking got to do this. But it's like, my God, this is the biggest waste of time.
Yeah, but also like shows like that probably pretty easy because the set is just like 2 places.
And they're built. They're built like this.
Incredibly simple to write because they're fucking written for stupid people. Like that what's his name? The guy who came up with that show and Big Bang Theory and all those other shows.
This really like Aaron. You and I, if we sat down from like 4 months, we could pop down to fucking show.
It's not hard.
It's not hard at all.
It's not hard, but like the reason that guy gets to do it is because he has made decent shows before. I don't remember which ones they were, but they were like respected shows. And then he just like shit stuff out like Big Bang Theory and Mike and Molly and like all those CBS sitcoms and whatever. That's that guy.
Yeah.
And it's just like all garbage. But like our parents love it. And those are the people that watch cable.
Yeah. Well, that's like, that's so weird because like I think in like another 10 years that's not that form of media probably won't exist.
I think it will because
or you think it's always you think that's always going to be because it's like it's basically like the Walmart version of
it's so cheap.
Art.
It's the Walmart like shows like The Office and like Parks and Rec that are like single cam sitcoms. I think are infinitely better.
But they're like diamonds in the rough shows.
Sure.
When you think?
Yeah.
Versus like Mike and Molly. In 10 years, there's going to be 14 more versions of Mike and Molly.
I know. There's already.
There's going to be the one with like, there's going to be one with like the Asian and the black girl.
There was one with the Asian girl.
Yeah, there's going to be one with like, you know, like a black guy and a white girl for the interracial people. There's gonna be one with like the Latino and then all the Latino people, like the Honduran with the Puerto Rican woman.
That's what we need is a Honduran with an Egyptian. The John Clauser story.
It's so funny. I'm watching Night Moon.
What's Night Moon?
Night Moon was the Egyptian Marvel one. Moon Knight.
Yeah, I love.
What did I say?
Night Moon.
Night Moon.
That's the Bob Seger. Morgan on a night moon.
Night Move. Moon
Knight's cool. Yeah. I like Moon Knight.
Well, I've been watching that, and like the guy, you know, the main character I think he's Colombian and Peruvian or something like that.
Oh,
but
actor.
He looks, but he's like, or what we call in Hollywood, racially ambiguous.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's funny because it's like, dude. Well, it's awesome because it's really cool to see like an Egyptian thing, but it's just like, yeah.
The girl, his wife in the show is Egyptian.
She's Egyptian, yeah. And the creator was Egyptian.
Yeah, well,
she's stunning.
The showrunner, and they made it they're trying to make it a point to like diversify all these characters who are traditionally just like they weren't anything. They were just comic book characters for the most part. I read the other day that the first ever superhero that Marvel has ever made was their Aquaman. So Aquaman was copied off of this guy. It was the submariner. His name is Namor. But his thing is that he's from Atlantis in the books.
Right.
Right. He's the king of Atlantis. In the comic or in the movie, though, when he's introduced in the next Black Panther movie, he's going to be half Atlantean and half Hispanic, like half Mexican, I think, or like it's not maybe Mayan. It might be Mayan,
right?
Because his story is supposed to be that he's been living, underwater for so long. But yeah, they're making it like he's going to have this backstory that's going to be inclusive, which is nice. Like it's not going to break anybody's fucking heart or anything that he's going to be Hispanic.
But then what happens is that they make a 3-hour movie, and then 1/3 of that movie is all this backstory that doesn't need to be told.
I'm interested because it's not even his movie.
Okay,
it's going to be the next Black Panther one,
which is going to be interesting.
Very interesting. I think they're going to get the movie's sister or whatever, Black Panther's sister, to be the next Black Panther, and she's anti-vax. She won't get a vaccine. She's a big stupid bitch. She won't get a fucking vaccine, and it's like she's like already forced people to like shooting to stop multiple times because people got sick.
Yeah,
and they can't keep doing it. It's just dumb bitch won't fucking get us vaccine. But anyway, yeah. So I think he's supposed to be like the bad guy in the movie or like the the anti-hero.
Why does the Latino person have to be fucking?
I don't tell me. Well, in the comic books, he's kind of like both. He's kind of a prick and like a hero because he just wants people to leave him alone.
Right. I just want to be
like
left
Shrek
the
in
fuck
his
alone.
swamp.
But it's so funny. It's like Moon Knight.
Yeah.
That he's like psychotic, and then like it's so funny, like because like, you see all these Egyptian goddesses, and you see the goddess of like the hippo goddess is a female
goddess of the underworld.
Yeah, the one who leads you to it. Yeah,
the reeds or whatever.
But it's actually so fascinating because it's like it makes people. The good thing about it though is it makes people Google shit.
Sure.
And it's like, oh, you might actually find some interest in this. And you might be someone from fucking Iowa. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I didn't know anything about this Egyptian stuff. They have a half girl, half hippo who takes you through the underworld and in the time, like, who measures your soul to make sure if it's light as a feather. It's like, yeah.
I think that because a lot of the stuff in the show wasn't really in the comics. Like some of it all was, right? Like the bad guy, Ethan Hawke. Mm-hmm. In the comics, he was barely a thing at all. But it's always like artistic interpretation. You take whatever and put him in whatever. But they wanted to like, it's like, but they wanted to like blow up like the Egyptian gods thing because in the Thor's already a thing. So like the Norse gods. And then the next Thor, they're going to introduce the Greek gods.
Oh,
like Hercules. Because in the fucking comic books, they're all like either aliens or some shit like whatever the Egyptian ones were, where they're more than likely also aliens, but they just lived on Earth for however long. Right. So it's just, and it was back to when you were talking about gods or whatever before. Like it is kind of cool that they're just like introducing all of these different religions into this. Yeah, because Black Panther is also an Egyptian god. Bast or whatever.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think I knew that.
Like Bast was in Moon Knight, I think. Like it wasn't like a thing, but
yeah, but it's just
like related,
fascinating. Like all that stuff's kind of fascinating. Cool. Like there's fucking cool like Muslim stories.
Oh yeah,
that are fascinating. The one with when Muhammad the miracle like night journey that Muhammad did. Did you ever know about that one? Where he was sleeping at night and then like the angel came and took the roof off his house and came and picked him up, and then he went outside and there was a like it was not as big as a horse but not as small as a mule. I swear to God. And it had wings on all of its legs.
Cool.
And that's what took him from Saudi Arabia to Mecca. Oh. And then he went up to God. Horsey. Then he would go to God. But when he went to Mecca, King David was there, as well as Jesus was there.
Oh,
Or no, Moses was there. Moses and Jesus were there,
Yeah.
just chilling out, just hanging out there.
Yeah.
And they're like, "What's up, Muhammad? What's going on, buddy?"
That's a prophet.
Yeah. And then he's like, well, I'm about to go up to heaven on this fucking creature thing. And so he goes up there, and God's like, "I want you to pray 50 times a day." And he's like, "Okay, that's cool." So he goes back down, and Moses was like, "How about we do it like maybe like 10, 10?" No, he's like 10 at first. And he's like, he goes back up there. And he's like, hey, God, it'd be really cool to pray 50 times a day, but like, we just don't have that much time as humans to do anything else. And he's like, "You're right. How about 10 times a day?" And he's like, "Groovy." Comes back down. Moses was like, "Oh man, that's a lot."
Already 5.
Like, can we do like 5? And he's like, okay, I guess I'll
work, God.
I mean, I guess I'll go ask God. So he goes flying back up there.
This horse, he's getting tired.
And he's like, God's like, I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought
God's like, sure. What do I know? Just a guy.
for being someone who's, no offense, almighty, you're
Yeah.
pretty easy.
Like, why
You're
didn't
pretty
you just-
easy swayed one way or the other.
Yeah. That's what a lot of people don't realize, like Christian people don't realize about Islam, is that they believe in Jesus. Like, they think he was a prophet too. It's just not the last one.
He's not the last one.
Well,
And
it's
then
just got to be the last. Doesn't matter if they're the last.
when you think the story would be over, then
The horse dies, they eat it.
Yeah.
That's why there's bones on the rock in Mecca.
Muhammad comes back down, and Moses is like, 5 times, man. Is there any way you could possibly talk to him and try to get down to 3? And he's like, "I don't really feel like going up there again."
God's like 4.
And so he's like, "All right, well," and then that's the reason why the Jews only pray 3 times a day.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, versus why the Muslims pay 5 times a day.
Is Moses like the Jewish equivalent to one of those?
He's a prophet, but he's not a God. He's just someone that talked to God.
Yeah.
See, that's where like the only
difference.
thing that's the thing that's different between Judaism and like Christians and Muslims is like these two people like no,
The Jews are still
I'm
up
the
in
son
air.
of God.
Yeah.
Muhammad, I'm the prophet of God. I'm like the most
The last one.
yeah.
The main one.
And so, but Jews are just like, well, Moses was a dude.
Yeah.
King David was a dude. Jesus was a dude. Muhammad was a dude.
They're all dudes.
They're just all dudes. And so, like, I feel that's the most simplest thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't put anyone on a pedestal.
Yeah,
do
because
any
what
of
if
that.
you're wrong?
Yeah,
That sucks.
just understand that there's a God,
cover
and
your
that's it.
bases.
Yeah, it's
Just make sure that you don't get fucked for one simple mistake.
But yeah, I think that's one of the most funniest, coolest stories in the
It's
world.
bizarre.
It's just such an insane story.
Really
that
is so funny.
But it sounds like it's such a human story.
Yeah.
Is that like one human is like,
That's too much. I'm dead, but I don't want to get tired.
but it's like I can totally see why this is where Jews got that whole like they're cheap and shit kind of like stereotype because they were just always trying to
Yeah,
or
well,
that term, you just Jewed me out of that
Yeah,
fucking thing.
yeah.
It's like because Moses was doing that. If you want to look at it like that, I just
Trying
think
to
it's
fuck over God. From his, like, praise.
he looked up like the goddamn free agent.
God's like, why didn't you just praise me like I told you to, you little bastard?
Well, that's the whole thing. That's the reason why Moses wasn't able to get to the promised land. He didn't see Israel was because he got so everyone started worshiping that golden ox. And he's like, guess what, motherfuckers? Guess what I can do? I've been up there fucking talking to God. He took his calf.
Yeah.
He took his staff and hit it against a rock and made water come out of the rock.
Oh,
and everyone's
yeah.
like, oh, shit.
Whoa, look at you.
and then God was like, bro, that's a party foul, bro.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that in front of the normies.
Yeah.
Come on, I fucking liked you.
Yeah. And so he's like, well, your punishment is you're never going to see the promised land.
That sucks. Whoops.
And then that's the reason why no one from was it Egypt saw the promised land was because they worshipped the ox.
Wow.
Coincidence, huh?
Yeah.
It's just
Who
it's
wants
all
to worship an ox?
well. It's because they're like what they're like God. Like we've been wandering around this goddamn desert.
Yeah.
But God's mindset was like you need to trust me because I'm still giving you water. I'm giving you manna. But humans weren't trusting in that.
Yeah.
And so
What if manna was just shit?
what if it was?
Like, why would God care?
What if it was just like
Just like eat it. You
like an
fucking idiots.
undercooked, cold,
Yeah,
like
just like an
McChicken.
old
It's
piece
just
of
like
shit, yeah.
just
Just like a fillet of fish with like ketchup on it.
And God was like, "Why don't you like this?
Yeah.
What's wrong with this?"
You're gonna die if you don't eat this. You know that. For I am God. I am right.
For I am God.
For I am God, and I'm right.
So that's kind of where we're at. But that's
2,000 years later or whatever, 3,000 years later.
Then you and I are sitting here doing a podcast and we're talking about it. And Moses over there is like, yeah, John, you did a pretty good job.
This is freedom. This is America.
You got Moses, Muhammad, and Jesus all sitting over there.
We have to do this in a basement, isolation. While the sun is out. We can't do this in real life.
So at the end of the sermon, guys, we would really like for you to at least donate $19.99 to the Aaron and John Fund. With our hats out.
Give us some fucking money. I saw today there was a comedian on TikTok who his video was like doing okay, and then in his caption it was, "Here's my Venmo."
You know what's so funny? People who put their Venmo and like their Cash App in their bios.
Yeah, I know. It's like, who the fuck are you?
Like who, or on their birthday.
Oh,
this is the thing I've never understood. I feel like I should try it my birthday and see if it works.
You should.
Is the people on it's my birthday, like my Cash App.
Yeah. Wish me happy birthday.
Bitch, I don't know you.
Yeah, I know. Why would I send you money?
Like you post pictures in thongs. Okay, that's cool, but I don't want to give you
That's
money.
why you get an OnlyFans like that. You get paid.
Yeah.
You get money from OnlyFans.
But it's
take that. You probably do pretty well.
Does that work? I'm like, does that work?
It has to.
I
guarantee it works for
it has to work, or it wouldn't have, or people won't do it.
Yeah. Well, it also, like, if it doesn't work, you just delete the caption.
I guess that's true, or delete the video.
Yeah.
Or delete the whatever.
Take it out.
Yeah. I guess that works
I mean,
too.
we'll never forget. You know.
Yeah.
I remember that shit all the time. People, there's been comedians, dude, like that I won't book because, like, multiple things, but like because they had to like ask people on Facebook for money so that they could go do a fucking comedy festival. Like, don't put in for it. First of all, it costs money to put in for it. Don't put in for it if you don't think you can get to it.
I have another thing. What's your opinion on people, and it irritates the shit out of me, is like the people who are like, oh, I'm about to make an EP, like, join this GoFundMe. It's like, why don't you just get a job and just work for it?
Well, I don't think, like, I think you should take the money from that you made from the show that you did and put it towards, like, putting it on, you know, a tape or a record or whatever.
Yeah, an EP or whatever.
And also, it doesn't cost money to make these.
Yeah, that's what I don't understand either. It's like you can buy a $50 microphone and like do it yourself pretty fucking easy. Like, how fucking stupid are you?
It's not hard. I mean, all you really got to do is get somebody to record audio, which like most venues already have the capability of that. Like, the venue will pay the guy.
But I wouldn't, like, if I was like, I came to you, Aaron, many years ago with the idea of a podcast. I wasn't then after that like, okay, now we're gonna raise the money for this. What I do is I went out and I saved up.
Yeah.
Because
you wanted.
I understood the budget that I had at the moment, and I bought lesser.
Yeah.
And I
worked.
These weren't the same microphones we started with.
I know, we started off with a snow cone.
Yeah.
Or a snowball.
A Yeti.
Yeti.
And so like you do that and you move yourself up. Like I would never ever expect, like, okay, I'm going to come up with a movie and I want to make a movie and then come to you, Aaron, and be like, hey, Aaron, do you happen to have $50? And you're like, I don't have fucking $50. I'm trying to do my own art, you dickhead. Like, what the fuck? Like, I just wouldn't come to people, like, because I would then get a second job or a third job or get an OnlyFans or something to fund it.
I understand it, like, but I also get, like, for, like, if you were to make a movie and you had like incentives for people to buy in, like say you had a GoFundMe or something, and like they would get something in return.
Like they would get like weekly podcasts for free. They would get behind the scenes footage. Yeah, in the movie.
Like, give me $20. That's what a DVD costs.
Yes,
and then that helps me make the movie. You get to see it.
That's a wholly different story. But like,
isn't gonna break
you're not getting anything other than the fact that like at the end, like maybe this EP gets made because clearly you're not financially responsible to make something. Yeah. So that's what drives me crazy because I'm like, dude, just get a fucking job.
Just, I mean, don't
wash dishes. Like, fucking do what you gotta fucking do.
Don't put it out into the ether if you don't know how you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
You know, like if you think that you can do that on GoFundMe, fine, whatever, try. But don't
put all your eggs in that basket.
Don't put all your eggs in the basket, and don't expect people to give you money.
Yeah, expect your budget might be $2,000, but expect maybe $200.
Maybe
if you're lucky.
Be happy if you get anything.
Yeah,
because I've seen some where comedians are like, we got to buy this van so we can go on tour. You go on bad tours already.
What are you doing?
Why would you ever think that's a good idea?
Why are you exploiting people like that for your art?
They don't care about your tour.
Leave them the fuck alone.
You're not a famous comedian.
Yeah, build yourself up. Do stuff. Make
Get a car.
Make it seem like make me as an audience make it seem like you give a fuck about your art and you're trying.
Well, to me, getting a van that you can fit 5 or 6 people in comfortably is why don't you just get a fucking car and be uncomfortable for the drive?
Yeah.
Who cares? You already have a car.
True.
I mean, you don't need that. It'll save you money on hotels and shit, but you needed somebody else's help for it. It's fine if there are people who want to do that. That's their whatever, but
good power to you.
It's so weird.
It's weird though, yeah.
To put it on there and just be well,
it's up to you guys. Yeah, it's up to you guys
to
make my EP.
Come on.
When you've put in nothing other than making this post.
Yeah.
Literally nothing.
I think that there's a lot of disillusion with people, especially in entertainment, where
people give a fuck.
No, that they think they earned it
without earning it,
without actually having anything to show for it.
Okay,
simply because they've been doing comedy or music or whatever for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you're good at it.
Doesn't.
Even if you've been doing it for 10 years, it doesn't matter. Sure, you probably have fans or whatever, but if you're not able to do it yourself and you're not at that point where people are going to help you do it, actually help you do it, then you probably aren't ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you don't have any money involved in this yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is your own money, which it should be.
Yeah.
I think it should be your fucking money for a long time if you really give a fuck about it. Yeah. For example, today I bought a more professional camera, but I did not. Did you see any GoFundMe? Did you see any post about I'm trying to buy a new camera? You should probably give me some money that you've worked hard for. Mm-hmm. What I do is I worked hard and I bought that fucking camera with my own money, and I used a lot of Amazon cards that I did from winning things.
Win.
So I did a fitness thing where for my company for the job that I work for, I did the most steps. I did the most steps in a month. Oh, dude, I destroyed. I had over 2 million steps.
Holy
the
shit.
next closest person had I think maybe 500,000.
Really?
500,000. Maybe.
God.
No, I did it so I could win. So I could.
I know.
Because you know why? Because I wanted to buy a fucking camera.
How much was the card for?
$25.
Still, whatever.
But that's what you do. But that's what you do when you want to buy. When you buy, I want to do entertainment. I want to buy a new camera.
Yeah.
That's what I had to do.
Sure.
I didn't give a shit.
Nope.
And so I didn't go fund me though. I didn't
if you have the fans, right?
Yeah,
go for it.
I guess, but it's still
if
you should be established as fuck to do that.
Well, that's what
shit.
I'm saying. It's if you have fans, you will get established in some way.
Yeah.
But also if you're trying so hard to be DIY like that, you should be better at it than needing
people
20 grand or something.
Yeah.
If it's just a little bit of money, maybe for some weird thing.
But it's
$2,000. Yeah, if it's
you should be able to get $2,000 to make your fucking EP
from your from your art.
Yeah,
sure.
or washing dishes.
Pull some shit like I did and learn how to make T-shirts.
Yeah, something.
Mark them up like a motherfucker.
Something. But just asking is simply stupid to me.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a waste because I know it doesn't work.
It doesn't.
It doesn't work unless you have that fan base already. Mm-hmm. And if they're doing that, chances are they don't.
They don't,
because they could have just gone to their fucking
they would have done it throughout their
Facebook
shows
page or some
and
shit like that, and then there's we need some money for whatever. When bands do that for vans and shit, their van broke down, I get it, fine, whatever. But yeah, it's just I'm trying to make a EP and I don't have any money. It's well, fucking don't do it then.
Yeah, clearly you don't care because you're.
Well, it's not that you don't care. It's that you're putting the cart before the horse.
True. Okay.
You know,
like
you could be all in the right mindset and all this other shit, and just kind of not see that this is like a weird thing to ask for because you're not in that position yet to get it. It's not that you haven't even earned it either. You know, like making money in art is hard to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should just be able to, in theory, have the resources for that already.
Yeah.
Or maybe you do and you just don't want to fucking take advantage of it.
Hey.
I don't fucking know.
Well, Aaron, we're an hour and 7 minutes into this.
We did it. 67, almost 69. So, do you have any
plugs or anything?
I will be headlining a show this Saturday, the 28th, I think, 29th, at the Bird Comedy Theater in downtown Kansas City. That starts at 9:30, headlining that one. And then the next week, June 4th, I'm headlining that. I think it's a Friday show. I can't remember, at the Bird. I think that's all I can think of right now. Going to Chicago soon for like a week with Dayton. Gonna goof around there for a week.
How's he doing?
5 days. He's good.
Good. Still rooting for the kid.
Yeah.
Good.
He and I started a podcast again.
Nice.
It's he had an idea for one where it's like about Greek mythology. And he
what's wrong with Shark Week? Shark Week was great though. Shark Week was such
I don't know. You know how he is. Like he changes his shit all the time.
Who's recording it for you?
Him.
Oh, he got all the equipment?
My friend Max bought me a thing for like a multi-mic thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just use like GarageBand or whatever the fuck is on his computer.
You know, you're more than welcome. I don't care.
Oh, I know. Well, we don't. This is all like, it's always like before an open mic.
Oh, okay. Then
The last one we did was at the Rhino in North Kansas City in the green room.
That's fair. That makes sense.
Like it's always like, hey, you want to do this right now or like tonight?
Oh, okay. Very last moment. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like that, but we're all so busy. Like
it makes more sense for Dayton doing it like that.
It's him, me, and then a guy named Dorian, who I don't know if you've met before, but he was like a philosophy major in college, and he knows like a lot of mythology, and I know like a little bit, and Dayton knows nothing.
Nice.
So it's a fun mix of whatever.
Beautiful. Well, awesome.
But he'll be releasing that soon. We've recorded like 4 episodes.
Beautiful.
What else? Going to Chicago. I think that's probably it for now. Shows in Weston, at O'Malley's and the Weston Wine Company and Royal Deluxe.
Perfect.
So all of those are happening next month.
Beautiful.
Come to those.
All right. Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I guess some bullshit. It's all the same. John D. Clouser. See you guys on the next episode. All right.
Goodbye. We love you.
All right, bye.